completed your module number 4, that is enumeration, where in today's session we'll start your module number 5 that will be related to vulnerability analysis. Okay, now the first thing is, what is a vulnerability? So vulnerability is nothing but an existing loophole or a weakness which is already present in a system, or else in a server, or else in a whatever there is a digitalization, there is nothing but there is a loophole. Now, in this particular vulnerability, always remember even humans are also vulnerable. Not only your machines, that is including you, me, and most of us are also vulnerable to certain things. But we don't know exactly what is the breaking point over there. So, s- vulnerability refers to an existing weakness which is present in a system. Now, your module number 5, that is vulnerability analysis, which will help you to understand how to find a vulnerability. But do remember, as this is an entry level course, you're not going to learn how to discover a new vulnerability. That is too technical. So what you will be learning is how to discover the vulnerabilities which are pre-disclosed or pre-discovered by others, and which are available in your target system, or else in your Metasploitable 2 or Windows 7, etc. Now, to understand more even further, we have something called as vulnerability classification over there, where there are multiple types of vulnerabilities being classified. For an example, you have your misconfiguration or weak configuration. Now, when it comes to your weak or else your misconfiguration over here, and vulnerability could be very easily found. For an example, if you're not running any kind of a security mechanism, or if you're not running any kind of a particularly some firewall or an antivirus or an IDS or an IPS and all, that could also become a weak configuration or a misconfiguration. One more example could be running 2 to 3 services on a single port number, like HTTP, FTP on port number 22. If you run, SSH will also run on by default on port number 22. So that will be port conflict and all. So this kind of a misconfigurations and all will be available, or else you're not set a strong password. For root accounts, generally we keep a strong password. So if you're not configured your root account with a strong password and all, that could also be to vulnerability, or else application related flows over there. When it comes to application related flaws, it could be any kind of a data tampering or parameter tampering. So parameter tampering is a concept where you try to modify the existing value of a content. For an example, if there is a price of 1,000 rupees, you can modify that to 500 rupees or 400 rupees or 300 rupees and all. That is your application parameter tampering and all. Or else poor patch management. So generally your vendor, that is your Windows or else Macintosh or else your Android or else your iPhone and all, they'll be getting updates. Generally, this particular vendors will be giving you a lot of updates, but some of the most common mistake is people will not update it. So people will not update it, or sometimes what will happen, the service provider will not provide the proper update over there, or they will not provide the proper patch, and all those things will come into picture. Next is design related flaws and third party risk for you. Now, when it comes to your third party risk and all, it is all related to your system privileges. So what and all applications will be having the permission to access your system related applications or system related permissions. Now, if you install an APK on your mobile phone, what and all permission it will ask. So it will ask permission for camera, it will ask permission for your contacts, SMS, and all those things. So that could be your third party risk over there. And then you're going to understand about vulnerability research in detail. That is only in theory. How in organization a vulnerability is been generally find, or in generally how they are going to disclose it. So let me give a small example. This is not exactly how they're going to do. This is just an example for you people to understand or have an idea. Let me start my whiteboard. Okay. Now, first thing, just imagine this. There is an organization where they're always into developing an application. So for a Windows 11, they developed an application that would be generally an exe application. Now they want to test this exe application whether this is vulnerable or not. So first thing what they do is they're going to ask their security team to perform the pen testing activities. And first thing they're going to do is take this application and do something called as RE, that is reverse engineering. So once you do reverse engineering, you're going to understand what kind of a code was used to write this application. Now, for this example, let us take an assembly language over there. Let us take this particular exe was written in assembly language over there, followed by now what they'll do. They came to know that this particular application that is exe is been written in application level language, where what you can do now is there is a topic called as fuzzing. Fuzzing is a process where a penetration tester is going to give a random input to this application. Is going to give some random input to that application and wait until unless if there is any application vulnerability, what will happen? That will be breaking down. So the application will break down at a certain point. That point they are going to consider as vulnerability. So the breaking point of an application while doing the fuzzing is your vulnerability. Once they found that there is a vulnerability existing in your target application, what the penetration testers will do is they are going to exploit it. But if you want to exploit a new vulnerability, you need to write exploit and payload or else even shell code. Either you write exploit and plus payload or shell code you're going to write and you're going to exploit it. That is gain access. Once you gain access, they will determine that is what and all permission I'm having against that application, what and all activities I can do, and all those things, what and all I can do against this application. What is the weakness? I can write it. Now, once it is done, once you have gained access, you need to figure out what and all are the loopholes. Once it is done, you're going to write something called as POC, proof of concept. From the step number one till n number of step, it doesn't matter how much steps, it could be 100 or 200 or just 50 or 10. So what you do is you're going to write a POC. Once you write a POC, you need to submit it to the higher authority. So it could be your team leader or it could be your manager or whoever is the concerned person. You're going to submit this particular POC. Now, basis on this POC, what they will do is they are going to get in touch where the vulnerability occurred. For an instance, just imagine this vulnerability was an issue from the backend team. It was an issue from the backend team. Then what will happen? The manager or the team leader will contact the backend team and they'll inform this that there is a loophole or there is a vulnerability in your application, whatever you have developed. So please do fix it. Now, what they're going to do, this backend team, they're going to fix that vulnerability via. If in case this application is publicly available, they are going to release a patch. If in case still it is under the production region, that is still under the client region over there, what they're going to do is they're going to apply the patch, whatever they have done. And again, they're going to submit this particular application for testing. And again, it is a life cycle. So the step will start again. It will keep on happening. It will keep on happening. You need to keep on testing that application. It's not like one time. You found a vulnerability. Okay, done. My job is completed. No, this is not your general perspective job. Once you find a vulnerability, write a POC, submit it. Once submitted, again, they'll come back to you. Again, they'll tell, we have fixed this issue. Can you please check? Again, you need to do the steps. Again, you find out, again, put fuzzing in there. If in case there is no vulnerability, that's good. You need to write a POC and end it. If in case you find it again the same thing, vulnerability, exploit, payload, again gain access. Once you gain access, note down the risk factor over there. What and all are the weaknesses? How and all this vulnerability could be utilized by the criminals if they lay their hands on this particular application and all. So this kind of analysis will go there. So this is an example. This is not the exact method. Exact method is more elaborated over there. So this is just a sample for you people to understand in organization how a vulnerability will be generally found using this pattern. But in CH, you're not going to do this. The reason, it is a complicated practical or a complicated task. So what you're going to do in CH, you're going to use some automated software or automated tools to perform this activity. And again, I told you that you're not going to discover a new vulnerability. Do remember, you're only going to play around with the pre-existing vulnerabilities which are available on your target operating system. Now, now you have a little idea on about vulnerability research and all. So gathering information about the security threats and attacks and discover system security flaws and find weaknesses before an attacker is going to utilize that weakness or a loophole. Next thing will be related to vulnerability management life cycle. That is, you need to follow a life cycle if you want to perform vulnerability management. So there are totally three phases available: pre-assessment, vulnerability, and post-assessment over there. Now, when it comes to your pre-assessment phase, first thing, identify the asset. Asset always refers to devices. In organization, they will not call it as laptop, desktop, routers, switches, and all. They call it as asset. So first thing, identify the asset which is having the issue and create a baseline. That is what you need to work on, what you need to do. Once you are done with the pre-assessment phase, you're going to step into the vulnerability assessment phase over here, where you're going to perform the vulnerability scanning. Now, again, I told you that again in CH, you're not going to learn the manual method, but in organization also, they're going to teach you or they're going to depend on fully automated. That is, they're going to use certain tools like Qualys Guard or else they're going to use Tenable, Nessus and all to perform the activity related to finding the vulnerabilities. So you need to perform vulnerability scan against this asset which is having the weakness and find your weakness. Once you found your weakness, you're going to analyze it. Analysis is a process where you're going to find the root cause. What was the major issue or what was the root cause of this particular vulnerability to come into existence? Once you're done with vulnerability analysis, the most important in an organization, that is risk assessment. Now, when it comes to your risk assessment, it is all about determining how much impact this vulnerability could cause against your organization. Now, if you take example of Log4j or any other bigger vulnerability, so much of millions of dollars were gone into it. That is your risk assessment. So how much impactful this vulnerability will be against my organization, followed by remediation. That is your solution. If there is a weakness, what is the solution for the weakness? Followed by verification, whether that particular vulnerability, again, it is coming into picture or again, it is causing some kind of an issues and all. Again, that is your verification, followed by monitoring. So once you fix the vulnerability, it's not like that you should leave it off. You need to monitor. So you need to monitor the behavior of that particular asset. If anything is communicating outside or any outgoing traffic or the incoming traffic, the behavior of that particular laptop or desktop or the asset. So you need to monitor that as well. Now, it is not going to stop at this point. Again, you need to find a new device which is having a vulnerability, create what you want to do. That is the baseline. Scan for weakness. If a vulnerability has been found, analyze the root cause. Risk assessment, calculate the risk over there, how much impactful that vulnerability could be, followed by the solution, verification, and again, monitoring. So this is what the reason why we call it as life cycle. When it comes to your life cycle, this is not one point to destination. It is not like source to destination. It is again rotating from source to source itself. Now, the next topic will be vulnerability scoring system and database. Now, most of the vulnerabilities will be generally, once they are found out, they'll be disclosed on the internet by the organization itself, where there are multiple number of other third party or databases which will help you to perform this activity related to vulnerability analysis. The first part will be related to CV, common vulnerability exposure. So CV is generally a database which is going to contain the information related to the vulnerabilities. Now, for an example, if I go to any website over here, I just generally search in internet CVE, common vulnerability exposure. See, I got multiple number of websites where in this website, if I go and search for a CV list, so you're performing a practical. Just imagine you're a criminal where you want to perform an attack on Windows 10. So your target is a Windows 10 user. You can search over here, Windows 10. If you search, you're going to get the list of vulnerabilities which was present in Windows 10. And if your target has not updated is particular Windows 10, this vulnerability can be utilized or attacked on the target. Now, for an example, you can see in this Windows 10 vulnerability, CVE 2024-9965, insufficient data validation or validation in DevOps in Google Chrome on Windows prior 130.0.6723.58 allowed to a remote attacker who convinced the user to enlarge in specific UI gestures to execute attributory code via the crafted HTML page. Chromium security severity low. And there is a unique thing which you need to remember. This, whatever you call the ID, it has a purpose. The first three part, this one that stands for common vulnerability exposure, followed by 2024, that is the year of disclosure, when this vulnerability was disclosed to the public, followed by a unique ID given for that particular vulnerability. 9965 for this vulnerability. Other vulnerabilities will be having different or unique IDs over there. So for an instance, if I want to compromise a Android device, so what I'll do, I'll go over here, Android 15. Let us see Android 15 is having any vulnerability, the latest operating system. See immediately how much I'm getting. Or else if I search for Android 14, see 21 records. And this records, the first three records are disclosed in the year 2025 itself. You can see improper export of Android application components in my files prior the version so and so in Android 14 allows a local attacker to access the files with my files privilege. So this is actually a vulnerability. Now, if your target is using Android 14 and if he has not yet updated, you can try this or you can try to exploit this against your target as well. So this is one thing which you can perform against your or else. Even we have the CWE also, common weakness enumeration. So you can depend on common weakness enumeration or else you can depend on common vulnerability exposure. All are same. See here, even there also EC Council also will tell you to go through CVE or CWE, or even we have something called as NVD also, National Vulnerability Database. And now the next thing that is the most important thing is your CVSS, Common Vulnerability Scoring System. Now, in an organization, if they have found a vulnerability over there, how they are going to calculate, how they are going to tell this vulnerability is very impactful and all those things. So we have something called as CVSS, Common Vulnerability Scoring System. Using the scoring system, you can easily perform the activity related to risk assessment over there. That is where your common vulnerability scoring system is having four versions. Version 1, 2, 3, 4. The latest version will be version 4 over there. C versus version 4 calculator, where if you look at an image, you'll get an idea. Now, if you look at this image, you can see version 2 and version 3 comparison, where in version 2, there were only three criterias over there, low, medium, or high. But in version 3.0 of your CVSs, there are four criterias, that is low, medium, high, and critical. So if in case your organization has a vulnerability, they found a new vulnerability. So using CVSs, you can calculate. For an example, you can see it has all the metrics over here. So if you give this metric, for an example, attack vector related to network, attack complexity high, Attack requirements present. Privileges required. Yes. User interaction. No. Passive. Let us keep. Now you can see it is going to give you a score once you submit this all criterias over there related to your attack vector. Now, if I give everything as high over here, just for your understanding, if I give everything I see, what is the score? 8.8. That is high. High means it is dangerous over there. So you can look at this image. It is version 2 and version 3. So do remember these numbers as well. In your theory examination, you may get a question saying that they may give you a scenario and they may ask you what range or what number this particular vulnerability is under. So at that moment, this kind of a questions or this kind of a numbers will be very helpful for you. So do remember the numbers. So if any vulnerability is lying between 0.1 to 3.9, that would be considered as low in your version 3.0, and 4.0 to 6.9, that is medium, 7.0 to 8.9, that is high, 9.0 to 10.0, that is critical. So this is how you can categorize your vulnerabilities in organization, stating that which segment it belongs to, whether it is a low vulnerability, medium, or high or critical. So in organization, generally, if they see low vulnerabilities, they'll not take it that seriously, because that is now currently it is not going to impact us, but they will monitor that. But they're not going to take it as so important. But if they see anything like high or critical, it will be very crucial for them. They'll try to fix it. They'll fight or try to perform the analysis and all those things and try to fix that weakness as soon as possible. So this is about your CVE or CWE or else your CVSS, Common Vulnerability Scoring System. The same range is available here also. See, so I just showed you one image here, right? Same range is available here also. This screenshot is from EC Council material itself, followed by what vulnerability scanner search for. Now, as I told, you're going to use some automated software or automated tools over here. Now, these tools, what they are going to check or what are the capabilities. So it is having the capability to test what and all are the operating system which is running on your target, followed by service version as well. What version of operating system or what kind of a services which are running, what kind of a version of service the target is running. If any port is open, what are the port number, what are the services which are running on that port number, protocols, followed by installed applications. And if your target is using any kind of a default or a weak password, that can also be found, followed by misconfiguration and known vulnerabilities. This is the most important thing which you need to remember. Your automated tools will never discover new vulnerabilities. Always remember this. It will never discover new vulnerabilities. It is only going to discover the known vulnerabilities. The reason known vulnerabilities will only be in the database of your security tools like your Tenable or else your Qualys Guard or OpenVAS, etc. And what are the limitations? Let us understand the drawbacks. What are the limitations of your vulnerability analysis tools? That is, tools only look for known vulnerability. As I told, it is not going to discover any new vulnerability. What are the vulnerabilities which are existing? Only that it is going to monitor, followed by automated tools produce a lot of false positives or false results over there. I'll explain what it is. And then requires a pen tester to determine if the system can be truly compromised or not. So these are some of the weaknesses. Now, what is this false results or false positive? So let me explain that with a image. Okay, this could be good. Now, just imagine you're working in an organization. You were working in an organization and you were given a task to perform the vulnerability analysis, and you use some a certain tool. For an example, let us take that you used a tool called as Qualys Guard or Tenable Nessus. So and so tool you have certainly used and you perform the scanning on the target. Now, once you perform the scan on the target, whatever the machine you are having, These tools, whatever the automated tools, they're having a capability of generating a report. Always remember your automated tools will have the capacity or the capability to generate a wonderful reports where that report will contain the info related to what are the vulnerabilities which is present in the target system. Now let us take that you scanned on a Windows 10 operating system, which is one of the system in your organization. As you scanned one of the system in your organization, that is Windows 10 asset, now you generated a report as well. Now you're not going to blindly depend on that. So what you do is you bring up a manual pen tester. Manual pen tester, a human will come into picture where this human is going to refer this report and is going to manually check whether that vulnerability was existing or not. Now we have four types of criterias available for you, where the first criteria is true positive. Now, when you see true positive, that means report. Report is saying that there is a vulnerability related to so and so. Let us take for an example. This is okay. Let us take there is a vulnerability related to RDP. An example I'm giving, it may be available, it may not be available. Now, RDP vulnerability is available. Report is saying that when a manual pen tester is going to refer that report and is going to check that particular system, if in case he finds the vulnerability, that is your true positive. Report is also saying, yes, there is a vulnerability. Manual pen tester also told it is a vulnerability is available. So both also confirmed. That is your true positive. You have something called as true negative. Report said that there is no vulnerability related to RDP. And when a manual pen tester checks that, he is not going to find any vulnerability. So criteria is matching. So that is true negative. Now, one of the most common, that is your false positive. Now, in false positives, what will happen? Report will tell there is a issue in RDP or there's a vulnerability in RDP. But when a manual PT is going to test that, penetration tester is going to check that system, he will not find any vulnerability. But a report is saying there is a vulnerability. That is the one of the most common thing you can expect in an automated tool. So report says, yes, there is a vulnerability, but when a manual pen tester checks that, he finds no vulnerability. That is false positive. Next, false negative. When it comes to false negative, your wonderful report is saying that there is no vulnerability related to RDP. But when a manual PT is going to check that, he finds a vulnerability over there. He finds a vulnerability and in the report that vulnerability is not there. Then that is called as your false negative over here. So these are the four major criteria which you need to remember when it comes to report analysis. True positive means report and testing also should be confirmed that there is a vulnerability. True negative means report and the testing should say that there are no vulnerabilities in the target. That is your Windows 10 example. False positive, commonly known where when the report is saying that yes, there is a vulnerability, but as a manual pen tester, when you determine or when you test that system, you don't find any kind of a vulnerability on that system. So that is called as false positive. False negative is a topic where report is saying that there is no vulnerability, everything is good. But when a manual pen tester checks it, he'll find a vulnerability over there. So these are the difference between true positive and negative, false positive and false negative. Now these are the theory contents from my end which are available for your module number 5, that is vulnerability analysis. And if you want to study more about this vulnerability, these are some of the links which you can utilize over here. CVE details. Just now I showed you, right? CVE details, this website, CVE details, or else you have other websites over here, NVD, nvd.nistgovernment.in, or else package storm security, cert.in. So there are many websites which will help you to understand more about vulnerability research. So now, any questions or any doubts till now, whatever we have discussed? If anyone is having any queries or any questions, you can do let me know, or else you can drop zero in a chat as a confirmation so that we can proceed ahead. And Manigandan, my Parrot operating system is not working all of a sudden. Checking with Vishwa on this issue. Noted, sir. And Prasanna, sir, I have a doubt in the course which you are offering for free. Where are we going to learn everything about pen testing topics like the one pen tester you mentioned in your example? So you're not going to learn complete 100%, no, sir, because this is an advanced level course. That's it. CPENT is an advanced level course where it can give you the exposure for CPENT or penetration testing. So 100% everything in and out about penetration testing, no, it cannot cover because above your CPENT, there are other courses from different organizations or different vendors over there. So it completely depends. But your CPENT will teach you fuzzing, buffer overflow, binary exploitation, or else Active Directory, web application hacking, and all those things. Your CPENT will cover about that. And if you want to learn more about penetration testing, you can go for OSCP. It is in one of the advanced level. In that also, that is an entry level certification in offensive security. After OSCP, there are multiple other certifications which will give you better exposure to penetration testing. And what is the status? I asked everyone to download one machine, right? Windows machine. Is it downloaded for everyone? Online students, what is the status? Did anyone miss downloading? I'm only seeing little responses. What about others? Not download? What? Did not download? Okay. Manigandan sir, in the last session, I asked everyone to download Windows 7, right? In last session, not today's session. I think last Sunday. And for the people who are using M series, that is ARM chipset Mac operating systems, Saikiran, I think, was sharing the recordings for you. He would have sent a different link for you. So do download that one. Do not download the one which is for Windows Intel chipset users or AMD users. Okay, then. So first thing what we'll do is we'll see the installation of your Windows 7. Now, once you have downloaded the Windows 7, you can go to the directory. Wherever you are downloaded, you can go to the directory. It is up to different users over there. In my case, it is available in some drive called as Z. So open your file explorer, everyone. Open your file explorer and go to the downloaded segment area. So in my case, it is Z drive. In your case, it could be downloads or pictures or whatever it is. Now, you should be able to see this OVA, orange color file, where just double click on it. Simple. Last time also we saw the same thing, right? For your HS box one or your CTF and all, just double click on it and you will be redirected to Oracle VirtualBox, where just click on finish. See, you have a finish button. Click on the finish button and the machine will import for you. So it will take some time to import. Wait for it. Pragna ma'am, I missed a few classes. I'm attending this online today. Okay. You can check out with Mr. Vishweshwar or Vikram ma'am. They'll help you out in the installation process. So if you have missed any installations or not, please do connect with them and they'll help you to do the installations, or else you can do let me know as well if you have any issues with the installations or topics. And I would recommend you to go through the recordings. That is very important. So if you miss any class recordings, that would be difficult for you to understand what topic we are covering. So please take help of us. And if you have any issues, you can do let me know without any hesitation. I'll check the recording. Sure, we'll let you know. Thank you. No problem, ma'am. And Anisha ma'am, sir, is there any alternative to public key we used for SSH? For Kali, it's giving error. What error you're getting, ma'am? And have you connected with our technical team members? That is either Mr. Vishweshwar or Vikram. And what was their answer or what was their suggestion for you? Okay. And so any alternative for Kali? The best alternative for your Kali will be Parrot, ma'am, which all of us are using, right? This will be the alternative. Share your AnyDesk ID, ma'am. Let me connect and check what is the exact issue you're getting. Please do accept the request when it's going to pop up. Please do accept the request, ma'am. You can leave your mouse or do not use your mouse. Let me take control. Ma'am, can you please copy paste that in there? Copy paste that in the line number 20. Remove that Z and all. Remove that space one. Save the file. It is already saved. I once so config ssh hyphen dss. Mhm. Or else let me do one thing. So ma'am, I've shared you one command in the disk. Copy paste that in the entire thing in this particular file. Just a second, just a second. Not this one. And you don't have the network connected. That could be the issue also. But first you do this activity, then you can check out with the network. So remove this entire thing and paste whatever I've given you in the chat. That could be helping you to resolve your issue. You need to copy everything. Increase this one. Yes. Paste. Save it. Now check the issue. What is the issue which is available with your network? So I think your system is not connected to the internet. So you're unable to negotiate. So you can take help related to networking if you need any help. You can take help of Vishweshwar or Vikram. They'll help you out, ma'am. And what about others? Your Windows 7 installation is done, right? You should be able to see Windows 7 on the left hand side. And Naveen sir, not able to install Windows 7 OVA in local. I'm using Ubuntu in local. You're using Windows 7 as, sorry, Ubuntu as base machine. Then you need to install Oracle VirtualBox. Sir. Then you need to install Oracle VirtualBox. And then upon that Oracle VirtualBox, you need to install Windows 7. Okay. Now, before you start your Windows 7, the rule number one, that is network. So go to settings, network, make sure it is in bridged adapter and promiscuous mode, allow all. Make sure the setting is available. And last time I gave you one configuration. So if you're having 8 GB of RAM, so you need to give 3 GB for Parrot, Parrot OS, and 2 GB for Windows 7 and 512 MB for Meta 2. This is the configuration which you need to follow, everyone. So if you're having 8 GB RAM, 3 GB should be given for your Parrot operating system, 2 GB should be given for your Windows 7, and 512 MB should be given for your Metasploitable 2. Now, do remember one thing. This will not make your system very fast, or if you give this much, your Windows 7 will not be that fast also. 2 GB is the minimum 2 GB you need to give for Windows 7, but generally I prefer 3 GB. But as you are having lesser than or equal to 8, so this could consume almost 5.5 GB. Remaining whatever is available, that is lightly sufficient for your what I can call your base machine. This is for people who are having 8 gigs. Now, if you are having equal to or greater than, that is 16 GB equal to or greater than that, what you can do is 3 GB for Parrot operating system, 3 GB for your Windows, just 1 GB you can increase it. 1 GB RAM you can increase it for your Windows 7. That's all. If you're having 16 GB or equal to or greater than that RAM. So this is the configuration. If anyone wants now, you can make the required modification. You can shut down your Parrot and you can alter it according to your requirement. That is your resource RAM. So it is completely depend on your base machine. How much base machine RAM you're containing, depending on that only this will work. Prasanna sir, you will be having it, that option will be available in your system. So if you go to system of your Oracle VirtualBox settings of any operating system, there you can increase the RAM and decrease the RAM over here according to your requirement. And Gagan sir, if the parrot is in shutdown, the given RAM is to the parrot operating system will be utilized by the base machine. Yes, sir. By default, it will be used by your base machine itself. By default, it will be used by your base machine. If you assign it to any virtual machine, then it will be utilized for your virtual machines. Otherwise, it will be only allotted for your base machine. Yes, Sham, sir, you need to download the Windows 7 also. Is it done? Assigning the RAM and all according to your RAM management. Now be careful with your RAM management. So depending on your RAM management, your system will be faster or slower. Now, once you're done with this, you can click on OK. Make sure that your network is set to a bridge adapter and promiscuous mode. And if you want to enable the copy paste, in general, go to advanced. So in general section of your VM, so in general, you have an option called as advanced, where these two options, that is bidirectional clipboard, it should be enabled if you want to enable the copy paste activities. So if you go to general, advanced, it should be shared clipboard and bidirectional, and drag and drop should be bidirectional. And do not start the machine, anyone. Just make this modification and be ready. Do not start it now. And don't start your Metasploitable 2 as well. Okay, now click on OK. You're done. You're done making the modification. And again, do not start the machine. Only Parrot should be running. Your Meta 2 or your Windows 7, it should not be running now. Because if in case it is running, it will consume a lot of resource and your system will slow down. The reason you're going to do the installation of your tenable Nessus. So be careful with this. Do not perform the initialization of your Windows 7 or Metasploitable 2 for now. Later onwards, we'll do it. Is it done for everyone? What about online students? Once you're done with the activity, you can drop 0. No need to type full done and all. You can just drop 0 in the chat as a confirmation. Manoj sir, the one you have highlighted is Windows 7. Yes, sir. The same thing. Name is different. Even I'm also going to use the Windows 7 Ultimate itself. The naming is different that you can ignore. No issues on that. Manigandan sir, no problem. You can follow the steps. You can note down the steps somewhere and you can follow it. No issues at all. What about others? Anyone is stuck at any point or you're having any issues or any trouble? Okay, thank you all for the confirmation. Now, go to your Parrot. I want everyone to be inside your Parrot because we are going to install your Nessus, that is your tenable Nessus, inside your Parrot operating system. So first thing, open a fresh browser. In this browser, search for Tenable Nessus or Nessus Essentials. Anything would be fine. Search for Nessus Essentials, everyone, in your Parrot browser, not in your base machine. In your Parrot browser, search for Nessus Essentials. Once you search for Nessus Essentials, go the first thing which will be available. So sometimes some sponsors and all will be available. Don't go for it. Go for this tenable.com. So Nessus is one of the highly industry standard or industry level utilized tool for vulnerability assessment or vulnerability analysis, where you're going to, so as you're all in the learning phase, you're not going to purchase any subscription or purchase anything, where you will be using the product of Tenable, that is Nessus Essentials. So Essential is a free product from Tenable that will provide you high speed, in-depth vulnerability scanning up to maximum 16 IP addresses. That's all. So using your Tenable Nessus, you can scan only 16 IP addresses because that is a free edition. The most organizations and all will be using the commercialized product, but as you're using the free edition, you will be having a limit that is 16 IP addresses maximum. Now, everyone carefully observe my screen. Don't perform this activity. Later on, which you can do. It is very simple. Where one thing already I've already completed this activity also. That is using temp mail and all, you're familiar, right? So register for an activation code. So you need to get an activation code where you're registering for 1 year Nessus essential license over there. But do not provide your official mail address, that is your personal or your corporate. The reason, after the 16 IP address, if you are thinking to extend it, you need to create one more account. At that time, same mail ID will not be accepted. So what we'll do is, I'll search for some temp mail. Let me go with some random URL over there. Copy this and give some fake name. Don't give anything original. Give some fake name, paste it, click on get started. Once you click on get started, if in case that mail is accepted by your Tenable Nessus, it will redirect you to this page where you'll have a download option. Before doing this, go to the temp mail and here you can observe you have an inbox. In the inbox, activation code will be available. Now, what I want everyone to do is copy this activation code and keep it in a file. Copy that activation code and store it in the file, and then come back over here and be at this place. Do not click on download, I'll tell you. So do this activity, everyone. Create an account and get the activation code. Activation code is very important. Without activation code, you won't be able to perform the practical related to Tenable Nessus. So everyone get an activation code, create an account, and it will be easy for you because already you are familiar with temp mail and all. Once done, type 1 in the chat, not 0, 1. Create an activation code and drop one in the chat as a confirmation. Is it done? What about others? Now, once you're done with this activity, that is getting an activation code, and keep it in a text file. Do not miss it out. Again, you need to create an account. That is an hectic process. So once you're done with this, come back to this page where it is written as thank you for registering for Nessus Essentials and all. Now click on download button. Download Nessus is there, right? Click on download. Once you click on download, you will be redirected to this kind of a page where here you can see download and install Nessus, where the latest version available for Nessus Essential is 10.8.3. This is the only version which you're going to get. And this is the wrong platform which has been selected. The reason Linux is correct, but you're not an Ubuntu user. So we are a Debian user. So what we need to select, we need to go to the top third section. So if you scroll down to the top, the third option, what is available over there? That is Linux Debian EMD64. This option you need to select over there for platform. Linux Debian EMD64. This option you need to select over there. That would be the third option in the list. So if you scroll to the top, the third option will be Linux Debian AMD 64 over there. And you have other options also. So if you want to run Red Hat on Red Hat Enterprise Edition, or else SUSE, Ubuntu, or else all the other operating system, you can perform this activity over there. And Mac M series users, try to download this Ubuntu Arch 64. Mac M series user, try to download this Ubuntu Arc 64 over there. So this may help you to do the installation. If this is not working, you need to install it in your base machine. Because for Mac, we have here Mac Universal. You need to install Nessus in base machine. There's no other option because ARM architecture is not separately given for you. So try this Arc over here. That is Ubuntu Arch 64. Procedure and all will be same, but this file you need to download. M series people. For other people, the third option, Linux Debian AMD 64. And click on download, everyone. Once you click on download, it will ask for terms of conditions, that is license agreement. Click on I agree. And it will ask you, where do you want to download? For me, I want to download it in the documents directory or downloads directory, any folder you can take. And download the file, everyone. It is just almost 65 to 70 MB file. That's all. So I want everyone to download this file with this architecture or with this platform which I have highlighted over here. That is Debian AMD 64-bit. Students, once you're done with the download, you can drop one in the chat as a confirmation. Now, once you're done with this activity, that is downloading the tenable Nessus file, what you can do is you can open a terminal, open a fresh terminal and go to that location. That is, in my case, it is in downloads directory. Perform ls, confirm once, confirm whether that file is available or not. It should be like this. Nessus 10.8.3 Debian 10 underscore AMD 64.deb. Once you're able to see that file, can anyone tell me the command? What is the command to do the installation? What is the command to do this installation? Yes, Venkatesh sir, you're correct. No, Gagan sir, it is wrong. Prasanna sir, nope. What about others? Any answers? What is the command? No, Chiranjeevi sir, that is also wrong. No, Prasanna sir. So let me tell you. So the command to do the installation will be sudo dpkg debian package -i install followed by the file name Nessus 10.8.3 debian so and so. Use the password and the installation will take place. Now, do remember Nessus is a tool which is not a software. So you can access Nessus via the browser. So it is having a web interface over there. So your Nessus is not any application. If you go to menu and all, if you search for Nessus over here, see, you'll not get it. The reason it is not an application, it is a web-based or a web-oriented tool. So what you need to do is they'll tell you that is you can access the Nessus on your parrot IP on the default port number 8834. So your Nessus is going to run on default port number 8834. So what you need to do is you need to access it. First, find your parrot IP, IP space A. So my IP is 192.168.1.41. I'll open my browser, https :// my parrot IP : 8834. Now it will not work. The reason you're trying to access the Nessus over here, but we did not initialize the service. So first thing we need to do the initialization of the service. So to start your service of your Nessus, the command will be sudo service Nessus d start. This will be the command for you people to start the Nessus on your parrot system. Now, once you do that, if you just refresh this page, see, it is giving you some output. You are able to see warning, potential risk ahead, where you can see all this option where you need to click on advanced, accept the risk and continue. Now you're able to see the tenable. Now it is very simple. So I want everyone to perform this activity. So first thing, open the directory. That is, go to the directory, new terminal. Don't use sudo su. It's not required. CD, ls, find your IP, start the service, and in parent browser, use https:// 192.168.1.41 8834. Now note, this is very important. Note this IP 1.41 is parent OS IP. Do remember this. So perform this activity, everyone, and do let me know once it is completed. Done performing the activity. Okay. Now, once you're done with this activity, so now you're able to see your Parrot operating system. So if I open my Parrot browser now, and if I give this IP, Parrot IP:8834, It will ask you some warning and all. Just click on continue, accept the risk and continue. Once you do this activity, everyone do notice where you're now having the option for welcome to Nessus, where the first option what you need to click, that is when it is asking for welcome to Nessus over here, what you can do is you can click on first thing continue button. That is, you'll be able to see welcome to Nessus, where you need to select on continue. Once you click on continue button over here, it will ask you what kind of an instance you want to run. So go with your register for essential, Nessus essential, the fourth option from the top. Use the option that is register for Nessus essential over there. The fourth option you need to register, followed by continue. So you need to click on continue over there. Once you click on continue, it will ask you to get an activation code. Now, get an activation code is already done for you. So you already got an activation code. So what I want everyone to do is skip this. Click on skip button. Once you click on skip button, here you will be able to see activation code, where you need to click on activation code and paste your activation code. Whatever the code you got, this one, whatever you got, copy, paste. Don't type it. It will become spelling mistake. So paste your activation code and then click on continue. And Prasanna sir, I have issue. I clicked on offline install. You can go back, right? So you have the option called as back. You can select that. Now, once you click on continue, it will show like this license information. So once you're able to see the license information over there, you can click on continue button and then create an account. So create your own account, everyone. Create your own account and click on submit. But do remember, please, do remember this. Whatever the credentials you give, do remember. Let me give something like root and tour. This is very simple for me. Click on submit. Once you click on submit, setup will take place and download will start. Do remember, if anyone has connected to mobile hotspot, don't do this activity because more than 2 plus GB of data will be downloaded. Now I'll give you the steps. What and all steps we have did. So these are the steps which are available for your Nessus installation on the browser. So perform this activity, everyone. And if anyone is having any issues, do let me know. Prasanna, sir, what you can do is you can close the browser and start it once again, sir. The steps are available on the screen. You can follow that and the installation will take 15 to 20 minutes. Now, everyone notice my screen. So this is your download plugin stage where plugin means scripts. Your scripts are getting downloaded over here where about 2 GB or 1.5 GB of plugins will be downloaded on your system. Once the plugin is downloaded, compiling will start. Compiling will take 15 to 20 minutes or even lesser than that or more than that. I've seen systems where it will take 45 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours also. Depends on a system. So you need to patiently wait for the installation. So today is the installation and the practical day of your Tenable Nessus. So it will consume some time. So this will be the steps for you. Anyone has missed it, you can follow this. Yes, Chiranjeevi sir. Chiranjeevi sir, as I mentioned over there, you need to go with Nessus Essentials. So if you notice my screen, I've given all the steps for you. Or else you can observe the Zoom chat as well. And Sham sir, what is this issue you're having? It's throwing an error for me. The connection has timed out. Did you perform this activity, sir? That is the previous activity. Sudo service necessary start and all those activity did you perform? Do cross verify once. Sham sir, do cross verify whether your system is connected to internet or not. Your parrot is connected to internet or not. Can you please verify that once? Chiranjeevi sir, you can select essentials over there. Essential is not there. Do one thing, Chiranjeevi sir. Close that browser. Try to restart. Use the same command again. Sudo service necessity start and try again. Everyone notice my screen? Once your tenable Nessus starts the compiling, this is how it is going to look. But you will not be able to click on this new scan. You'll not be do anything or you'll not be able to do anything. The reason it is still compiling. You can see this spinning, the refresh icon. If you over your mouse on that, you can see how much percentage compiling has taken place. In my case, 3%. So until unless 100% is compiled, you need to wait. So it may take 15 to 20 minutes. So let us wait at that time. So you need to wait until the compiling is 100% completed and you will get a pop-up. You'll get a pop-up on the screen. Wait until unless you see the pop-up. If you're not seeing the pop-up, that means your compiling is not yet done. And plugin download is failed. So this is very common. So when whoever is having this issue, that is plugin download failed. And one more thing you need to remember, don't shut down your system, don't disconnect it from the internet, and don't let your parrot go into sleep mode. Now, if anyone is having that issue, what you need to do is you need to use this command rm-rf slash opt slash nessus slash star. You need to use this command if in case your plugins are failed and all and start from the beginning. That is from here. From here you need to start, but do not create an account because activation code I told everyone to store it, right? So use that activation code and you can perform the same thing. So this is for the people who are getting error. Venkatesh, sir, are you trying to use any spaces and all those things over there? Just try to refresh the page, sir. Try to refresh the page once and then try to create an account. So in my case, about 16%, the compiling is completed. We need to wait until 100%. Venkatesh, sir, now it is working. Okay, fine, sir. For how many it has been started, the compiling, and you're able to see this refresh icon. If you over your mouse on that refresh icon, you will be seeing a percentage also. So you can tell me what is your current percentage of your compiling. Vintage still downloading the plugins. Okay. 9, 21, 91, 21, 10%. Okay. And everyone do remember, do not disconnect from internet or do not shut down your system. If you shut down your system and luckily, if in case it continues, it's good. Otherwise, it will start from beginning. Another 15 to 20 minutes will be wasted for you. So what is the status of download or compiling? So in my case, it's only 30%. In your case, how much it is? And Madhukiran sir, after all the steps repeated on this submit page, I'm getting error as activation failed. Then you need to again start, sir. I gave you one command in the chat, right? rm-rf. Then you need to try the same command and start it from the beginning. And I use that command. Okay. After using the command, any options you got, sir? Any error or any issue you're facing still? Again, same thing you're getting. Then the next option would be trying to get a new activation code. So try to create an account or use a temp mail and get a new activation code and try that option. So if you're still having the same issue, do let me know. And Madhukiran sir, I tried with a different activation code. Then also I'm getting the same error. Okay. Madhukiran sir, can you share your AnyDesk ID with us so that we can connect and check what is the exact issue? And make sure that in the activation code, whatever you're pasting, there should not be any extra spaces and all. Code should be as it is given by the tenable. A space or any extra dot or a comma should not be available over there. Check for spaces in the starting and the end. or how many is it complete? Once it is completed, it will show a pop-up. So if you got a pop-up means that your particular Nessus has been successfully installed on your system. And Manigandan sir completed showing pop-up. There is a text box for targets field. Do I need to give anything? No, no, sir. Nothing. No need to give anything. You can just close that pop-up. Yes, Sham sir. And my Windows 7 download is now completed and I've opened. Should I click on finish, right? Yes, that is correct, sir. Click on finish button. No, Sham sir, what is the error you're getting? Sham sir, do check whether your C drive is having storage or not. And that could be one of the issues, sir, because 7 GB is not sufficient for Windows 7. So try to increase some storage in your C drive. Maybe try to change to a different drive and all, if possible, and try to import the machine once again. Yes, sir, you can switch to a different drive. No issues on that. And Gagan sir, it is very slow. Yes, sir, it completely depends on your system. So this cannot be increased or decreased the speed. It completely depends on your system. See, in my case, it is almost done. So you can observe the percentage, 99% it has been completed over here. But still 1% is remaining. Let us wait. What is the percentage for others? 25. Yes, completed. 41 minus 12, 4183. And in my case, you can see the refresh symbol is gone. Okay, so now if you notice my screen, you're able to see one pop-up. Welcome to Nessus Essentials. So you need to wait until unless you get this pop-up. That means once you got this pop-up, it is a confirmation that your plugins. So you'll get a notification as well. Plugins are done compiling. So this is a notification stating that you're compiling of your plugins. That is, plugins are nothing but scripts. Scripts are compiled successfully on your Nessus and it is done for that. So no need to do everything every time whenever you want to run Nessus. This is not required. Once you do it, that is sufficient. Now, what you can do is you can click on this close button. No need to click on submit and all. You can just close it and now your Nessus is ready. Now, some of you are still performing the activity. Some of you are almost close. That is 50% plus. So what we'll do is at this point, we'll take a break for 15 minutes and then we will resume the session. So break for 15 minutes and then we will continue the session. So in the break, make sure that no one is going to leave your system to shut down or go to sleep mode and all. If in case it goes, again, you need to start from the beginning. So do remember that. And your plugins are compiled means, oh, you got a pop-up means, then you can close your system. You can put it into sleep mode and all, you can do that. But before that, don't try to do it. So break for 15 minutes. After the break, we'll continue. So we are done with the break. For how many the compiling is done? For most of you guys, the compiling is completed. Very good. Some of you are still at 97, some of you are at 53. So what I recommend everyone to is make down a steps and write down the steps over here, and so that you'll be having an idea what I'm currently doing. Now, once your compiling is completed, I'll take you a small walkthrough of your tenable Nessus, how it is going to look and all those things. So on the right hand side, you have the account section. So this will be your account. That is currently my account name is root. So that information is available over there, followed by next thing that is notification icon. So you're having the notification over there, followed by resources, the help section. This is the right side over there. On the left side, you have the scans. That is my scans option will be there. We have all scan also. So you have my scan, all scan, trash will be available for you, followed by the most important thing, settings. Now, when you go to settings option over here, you can see that Nessus Essentials, you're under the version of 10.8.3 Linux over there, where licensed host, this is the important thing, that is licensed host 0 out of 16. That means maximum you can scan only 16 IP addresses on a network or on a license over there. Where yeah, in my case, I've used 0. That means I've not yet even scanned a single device over here. Followed by when the plugins. Plugins are nothing but scripts. The script will get executed on the destination and you will be able to get the result over there related to vulnerability. And then license expiry. So your license is valid for 1 year. So March 15, 2026. This is the year over here. So March 15. So from today, that is exactly 1 year they have given. And you can upgrade to Nessus Professional or Expert over here at this point, where the license is 16 IP addresses maximum. So it can scan up to 16 IPs. That is the maximum for one license. This license, whatever you're able to see on my screen, it is only going to have 16 IP address of validity. Above 16, if you want to do, you need to register with a new license over there, where if you click on this pen button, you can enter the new activation code. Just create one fake account, get the activation code, and here it is. You can get your activation code and activate the account. And again, 16 IPs you will get. License utilization, you can see you have used 0 out of 16 licensed IP addresses over there. Software update, plugin detail, encryption, password, events, and all those locks and all will be available. Where if I go to this segment, that is new scan option, which is available on the right side. This new scan, whatever is available, if your compiling is 100% completed, then only this new scan will be activated. If your compiling is still under process, if you try to click on this new scan, it will not work. Now, if I click on new scan, you'll be getting multiple number of options. For an instance, you can see that you're having this option related to this particular scan template where you can see back to scans, where you'll be having the option related to scanner, discover, and vulnerabilities as well over here. Now, in this options, what are available, the most interesting thing will be your vulnerability section. When it comes to your vulnerabilities over here, previous versions of Nessus were having multiple number of features. Example, you could do log4j and all those things, but now it has been removed in this latest version where you'll be having basic network scan. So if you want to perform a network scan, that is also possible. Credential validation over there, advanced scan, advanced dynamic scan, malware scan, Nessus 10.8.0, 10.8.1 agent recent reset over there, mobile device scan, which is not available for you because it is for paid edition, that is expert or professional edition. Web application scanning can also be done, credentialized patch audit or active directory status scan, or else find AI and the compliance rules and regulations, everything will be for upgrade. Now, what option we will select is we will go with this option, that is advanced scan over here. Now, in this advanced scan, what and all you want to configure, you can do that activity. That is the advantage over here. You can do the customization. So I'm going to click on this advanced scan. So whoever scan is not completed or compiling is not completed, I want everyone to note down the steps so that later on, once your compiling is completed after the session or tomorrow also, you can try this. So once you click on this advanced scan, the first thing that will open is settings, where in settings by default you will be under basic general settings over there. In general, it is going to ask name. So you need to provide the name. What is the name means? Name of the scan which you're currently doing. So I'm currently doing a scan related to CHV13 weekend afternoon batch. I'm going to mention that. And if you want to give a description, it is up to you. Description is optional, where I can give a description like CHV13 weekend afternoon batch vulnerability scanning on Windows 7 and Meta 2. So I can give a description like this. So you can give whatever you feel depending on the activity what you're doing, followed by the most important section, that is targets. So here you can either give a domain name or either you can give an IP address or you can give a range also. So if you have one or two systems, you can mention or type the IP over there. But if there are many targets which you want to scan, like 100, 200 and all, in organization, generally you have only 16, where you can add a file. You can add a file which will help you to make your process more easier. So in the file, you can add all the 200, 300 IP addresses and you can give that as an input where it will scan. But for now, I'm only going to give my Metasploitable 2 and Windows 7 IP. So start your Windows 7 and Metasploitable 2 IP. So start these two machines and the Windows 7 password is a simple password. So Windows 7 password is tour, Toor. Remember this word tour. It is reverse of root, Root. If you do that reverse, you are going to get Toor. This will be the password for the Windows 7 operating system. So do remember this password. So it is tour, Toor. Start your Windows 7 and Metasploitable 2. And the Voldemort will be the user. Tour will be the password. And once you open your Windows, you may get this pop-up and all. Windows activation and all. Just click on Ask Me Later or Cancel. Do not click on Activate Now and all. Cancel. And you can see your Windows 7 system is ready for you. Where open command prompt and get the IP. IP config. So the IP of my Windows 7 is 192.168.1.23. Provide that IP over here. 1.23, comma, your Metasploitable to IP. Login, Metasploitable to IP is 21. So without any spaces, 21. So perform this activity, everyone. Log in into your Metasploitable 2 and Windows 7 and get the IP addresses. Once you get the IP, you can enter that IP in this format with a single comma. Do not use any extra spaces and all. And now Manoj sir, so it is this considered as two IP used of or one, two IP, sir. So out of 16, two you have already utilized. If you run this scan, two will be utilized and remaining 14 will be there. I'll show you that as well. And compile is completed, but I did not get the pop-up. It will take some time, so it may take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on your system. You will get a pop-up. You need to be patiently waiting for that. Is it done? Adding the data, your metasploitable 2 and your Windows 7 IP should be added over here. Prasanna sir, log in into Windows 7, open CMD and type the command ipconfig. Prasanna, are not default gateway. If you open your Windows 7 over here, you can see you're going to get the IPv4 address over there. This one. So this is your IPv4 address, this option, what is available. So you need to enter this IP over there. This is your default gateway. You should not add this. It means your router IP it is. Shamsa, yes, you need to open your Windows 7 and Metasploitable 2 and get their IP addresses and paste it over here. And you need to use IPv4 address, everyone. Do not use IPv6 address. Sham sir, as I told, the password for your Windows 7 will be TOOR, TOOR. Okay, now once you're done with this activity, that is assigning the IP address over here, your Metasploitable 2 and your Windows 7 IP. Next thing is you have multiple other options as well. So you have option to schedule over here. So if you go to schedule, you can schedule at what time you want to run this scan. So you can see frequency, every once or daily you want to run or weekly or monthly or yearly. So generally in organization, they'll go for weekly. So every week, once or twice, they'll be running this. If I go to weekly, you can see every Saturday, Sunday, I can select or every Monday, or let us go with this pattern. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 days, I can run the scan on my targets over there. So I can select this or monthly, I can select on which day or which week of the month I want to run. So multiple options will be available. For now, we'll not do this scheduling activity. This is just for usage and notification. So if you are under the SMTP architecture, that is your simple mail transfer protocol in organizations, they'll be having SMTP server. So if your SMTP server is configured, you can give the mail address over here and you can get a notification also. Once the scan is completed and all those updates, you will be getting it over there. And you have other parts, discovery, assessment, report. Now, this is the important section. Now, in report section, what I want everyone to do is you need to select on override normal verbosity. The reason, if you closely observe this mark over there, that is override normal verbosity, here it is clearly mentioned that I have limited disk space. Report as much as little information as possible. Report as little information as possible. So it is going to collect only little information. So what you need to do is you need to check this box. You need to check this box over there where if you check that box, what will happen is the option to enable or select report as much as information as possible will get enabled. So you will get this option, report as much as information as possible. You need to select this option where you're telling that I don't have any disk storage and all deficiencies and all not available. Give me as much as data as possible. That's all. So everything is set for you. Other than that, your advance, your assessment, your discovery, everything will be running on default option for you. Only thing is in basic, you need to give what is your scan name. Or if you want, you can give the description and the targets. You should give your metasploitable to IP and your Windows 7 IP address over there. Once you give that, go to report. In report, select this option. Override normal verbosity, report as much information as possible. That's it. Once you're done, click on save. Scroll down, click on save button. Once you click on save button, you will be automatically redirected to scans folder, my scans folder, where you will be able to see your scan. CHV13. So you're able to see this CHV13 vulnerability on demand, not applicable, and play and stop. So this button, whatever you're seeing, the play button, this will help you to start it and this will help you to stop it. Now click on the play button. So if you click on the play button, which is available, that is nothing but launch button, your scan against your Windows 7 and Metasploitable 2 to discover the vulnerabilities what they are containing will get initialized now. And even the scan will take time. So scan is not an immediate process over there. Immediately it will not give you the result. It will take about 10 to 15 minutes also. In some cases, it may take only 5 minutes. Some cases, it may take 1 hour also, depending on how much vulnerability and how many systems you have given as a target. Once the scan is completed, you'll be able to see one right tick mark over there. That means the scan is completed. So perform this activity and do let me know, everyone. Start your scans. And Sham said description can be optional. If you give it or if you ignore it, it would be fine, sir. And Prasanna sir, can you use IP or remote device which is not connected in our network in the scan? No, sir. The reason, if only the devices which are connected to the devices you can do. Generally, if you're having any public IP address or you're already in the private VPN of your organization, then you can do. But currently, as we are doing it on a local area network, then now you cannot add it. But there is a possibility. Yes, Sham sir, you can just click on save and continue and start the attack. Okay, so everyone do pay close attention on my screen. Now, if you notice my screen, you can see that this particular scan is been completed. You can see this right tick mark. If you're able to see this right tick mark, that means the scan what we initialized is 100% completed. Now, how to analyze it? So later onwards, you can perform the activity. I want everyone to pay close attention. Where if you just click on your name, that is CH version that in weekend afternoon batch, you'll be getting the information. That is, first information will be host. That is how many devices are available. So there are two devices. Vulnerability is how many total? 77. Remediation 4. History 1. Where if you go to settings now, see license utilization, if you go, 2 out of 16 IP address has been consumed. And here it will be mentioned also which IP you have scanned. Now, again, if you go back, you can see that policy advanced scan, status completed, severity base. We are running on CVSS version 3.0. If you want, you can alter it to version 4, 3.0 or version 2 also, depending on your requirement. So some organization nowadays they may follow CVSS version 4.0, or some organization may only depend on CVSS version 3.0. Depends on organization to organization. Scanner, local scanner, start time and end time. It has consumed totally 8 minutes to perform the scan. Now you can see the graph also. You can see a visualization over there, graph related to critical, high, medium, low information, etc. Now, you cannot submit this to your manager or you cannot submit this to your team leader. This is not in a presentable format. So what we do, we create a report. How to create a report is very simple. So on the right side option, you have an option called as report. If you closely observe, there is an option called as report over here. If I go to this section that is a report, here you will be able to generate a report over there. So if I go to this report section, and it will ask me what type of a report you want to create. Now, generally, if you magnify your font size or the screen size, you cannot scroll up or down. You cannot see much of a content over there. So what I recommend, minimize your screen size. See, keep it like this, 100% or 110%, where this particular tool will help me to create a report in HTML, PDF, or a CSV, comma separated value, where you have four kinds of an option, where generally I'll be suggesting you to go with the first one and the second one over here. The reason, these two things are more than enough, where you're going to get a complete list of vulnerabilities by host. That is only the list. So your manager and all will not be working on full in detail. They only want the information. How many vulnerabilities are there? What are the vulnerabilities? They don't want synopsis, description, and all those things. They don't want. For them, your option that is related to your complete list will help you, or else get a detailed vulnerability by host report. Now, this will give you a detailed report. Now, first, let me show you the a complete list of vulnerabilities. That is the first option. And I always prefer this kind of a reports in a PDF format. Now, depends on organization. Again, see, organization, they have a different criterias always. So some organizations will ask the format in CSV, comma separated value. At that time, see, you can add columns and you can remove columns. Some organization may ask you to give in HTML format, but I'm going to select the PDF format, complete list of vulnerabilities, and click on generate report. If you click on generate report, it will take certain time, maybe 5 to 10 seconds it will take, and it will give you the report. And the report will be automatically downloaded. See, the report has been successfully downloaded and is only 12 pages. You can observe the entire report is only about 12 pages over here, where the starting you can see Tenable Nessus CH version 13 weekend afternoon report generated by Tenable Nessus. What is the timestamp over there? So today's timestamp, that is almost 5:40 or 34 is available over there. And you can see vulnerability by host. That is two IP addresses, whatever we have given. Scroll down and you can see the information. What is the IP address followed by the vulnerability list over there. What are the vulnerabilities? So you can see all the vulnerabilities. So for an example, you can see one vulnerability is there, high, where the score is 7.5. What is the plugin ID? NFS shares world readable over there. So you're able to see one vulnerability. So all the vulnerabilities will be available for that IP first, and then the second IP, this IP. Now, what is information? This is some kind of an additional info about that particular VNC software detection or else VNC server unencrypted communication detection. So any kind of a loophole or a minor level of data is also available. It will extract it. So this is your list of vulnerability, which is not required for a very technical person. So like your manager or else above them, whoever is available, they don't want to go in depth. For those kind of a people, we recommend this kind of a report. For technical people, for an example, your technical team leader is asking to generate a report. For them, if you give this list vulnerability, they'll not accept it. They want in detail. So what you can do, you can go with detailed vulnerability by host and click on generate report. Now you can observe the difference. The list is only about 12 pages. Now, once this report is generated, you can observe it is 323 pages of a report only for two devices, where you can observe that Tenable Nessus is available over there, followed by what is the scan name, whatever I gave, And first vulnerability by host 1.21. And now you can see that it has collected the machine name. I did not give the machine name, right? Metasploitable, I did not specify anywhere. It has collected the machine name followed by what was the IP. I only gave the IP address information and operating system. And that is your MAC address and the operating system. And you can see vulnerability over there. So these are the vulnerabilities. Example, we have a vulnerability related to Tomcat Apache, Apache Tomcat synopsis. There is a vulnerable AJP connector listening on the remote host over there. What is the description? References, solution, risk factor, CVSS version 3.0 base core, followed by, you can see, plugin related information, plugin output. Plugin output will tell you what port number was having the issue. This vulnerability is available in 8009 port number. Now let us see the next one. Apache Tomcat SCOL. There's a vulnerability and you can see the information. Bind shell backdoor detection. You can see solution also will be given. And one of the important things, you can see solution, critical or risk factor over there. And the most important thing is exploitable with. Now, if there is a vulnerability, how you can exploit it? Which tool will support you? So there is a tool called as Score Impact. Generally, your organizations will be using this tool. So it is not a freely or an open source tool which is available. It is a paid or a commercialized product where Core Impact or Canvas or your Metasploitable or Metasploit framework are the three majorly or widely used tools for penetration testing. So Core Impact is from Fortra, that is Core Security over here. So you can see